just in case she throws out. Gonna need a new seal on my pump.
Oh yeah.
That's right, the company select.
Morning all. Sunday morning here. Got a bit of a sicky cow here. Just here, look. She's not quite right. I've got the vet coming. Let me tell you the scenario. So last few days I've noticed she's been sort of hanging back with the herd, and then last night I got her into the milking parlour and she milked okay, so she wouldn't offer milk because that's sometimes a sign that they're ill, is if they stop producing milk, but she didn't eat a cake and she had a bit of a twitch in the back, and I kind of thought then, I thought she's not right. Saturday night, you're thinking, well, Saturday night, isn't it? And I was thinking, well, I don't know whether to get the vet out now or what. So I thought, actually, do you know what? I'll wait till Sunday morning. Sorry about the cow there. So wait till Sunday morning just to see what she's like. And I came out this morning to get her in, and she was over the far side of the field, away from all the rest, which is usually a very strange indicator there's something not right. I got her up and got her in. She walked in fine. Oh look, she's over there. Let me just turn around, let her look. She sat down as soon as she came in. The other one's on the hay. Normally they come straight in on the hay. She does look a bit sorry for herself, I think. She just doesn't look quite right, does she? So I've had a chat with the vet. Of course, you see, weekend call-outs are expensive, and quite often you sort of think you've got to justify it, but with a cow, what you don't want is one dropping dead. That would be really bad. So weekend call out, we've got him coming out. There's a possibility it's ketosis, which is sort of a lack of energy. I'm going to find out. I'm going to do my head in it. When Ben the vet gets here, we'll get a bit more details and we'll be able to analyse her, because he's got a test for ketosis, and we'll be able to work out exactly what's going on. But for now, she's not in any pain as far as I can tell. She's all right. She's not dying, but she's just under the weather. She's obviously feeling quite sorry for herself, I think. I think that's probably what the situation is. Right, let's wait till Ben gets here. Right, Ben's just arrived. He was changing a nappy when I spoke to him on the phone half an hour ago. He's a fairly new dad. He's a good chap. We're going to see him. Ben's here getting ready, look. He's happy, man. He's a new dad. And also, you've been away on a nice trip to France, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've dragged you out of your bed now. Well, you were up anyway.
I was changing a nappy.
So, Ben, how's it going?
Yeah, really well, thanks, Rich.
So I've had a quick chat on the phone. You haven't seen the cow yet.
No.
Possibility of ketosis.
Yeah.
We won't. I'll tell you what. I'll ask you about it once we've seen the cow and we go and see what you think.
Yeah,
what are the primary checks you would do on an animal?
So we'll do a full clinical exam.
Yeah.
So we'll check her temperature, we'll listen to her heart, we'll listen to her lungs, check her general demeanour, how she looks in herself, and we'll do some other checks on her udder for mastitis, and also just looking around her reproductive tract. She said she's 3 weeks calved.
About that, yeah.
Yeah. So there are a few things that we can check there,
right,
to be going on with.
All right, let's go. Time's money.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, we're just bringing her around. We're going to put her in the crush so we can see what she's like. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. So you're heading in there with her.
Yeah, so I'm going to take her temperature, but you see already she's shaky.
That's what I noticed really yesterday. Shaky. Yeah,
that's what you're saying, a bit twitchy around the back end.
Yeah, you can just see the back end.
Yeah. So already with ketosis, there is a form of clinical ketosis that's called nervous ketosis.
Yes,
and that can give you these neurological symptoms. Sometimes they get a shaky head, but this sort of tremor we've got here is a little bit of an inkling.
Right.
But obviously, we've got to do our checks first before we make any full diagnosis. So
this is just temperature, isn't it?
Pop the temperature, yeah.
And what temperature should it be?
So ideally, you want a cow to be between sort of 37.5 and 39.5 is the full range. Generally they sit between 38 and 39, and she's 38.3.
Right.
So she's within normal.
Right,
limits,
that's good.
That's no worries, yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing a clinical exam.
Yeah.
I have the same routine every time.
Yeah.
So I always I look at how they're breathing, their demeanour, then I take their temperature, then I do basically hearts, lungs, guts.
Right.
Do that on each side of the cow,
Okay.
and then we'll go around the back end, do an examination of the udder, the vagina, and also take some blood to check for her ketosis.
Right, let's go. So as you can hear with the noise, while Ben's just checking her, as you can hear with the noise, we're in the middle of milking. We've got the milking Bahala behind, whacking out the motor, and there's a cow over there. We sold a calf, so she's balling for the calf. It's the reality of farming. So we've got a noise issue on this video, which you're going to have to just put up with, okay?
That's all okay on that
That's
side.
good.
That's all good on that side. So her rumen is pretty full.
Yeah.
So she's not been off her feed for too long. You said she hadn't eaten much cake in the parlour
last night.
No. But she's still got a fairish amount of rumen fill.
That's good.
And it is turning over.
Yeah.
And I can't. The flicking I'm doing is to listen for any gas in the guts.
Right.
And that can just help guide our treatment plan.
Right.
But at the moment, they are still turning over all right.
That's good. Next step.
Next step is the old
hand up there.
Arm glove.
I might video from the side there. I'm not sure whether YouTube would like the full gamut of what the reality. So sometimes when you film stuff on YouTube, they ping it up because it's inappropriate and stuff. So I'm going to film from the side.
Yeah.
Proper James Herriot stuff, this, isn't it?
Well, I don't think James Herriot even would have worn a glove.
No, he wouldn't have, would he?
So just gently going to pass my hand into the vagina. Obviously she's fresh carver, so I'm just checking for any signs of tear or infection. Her cervix is closed, and the fluid that's coming out is nice and clean, so that's exactly what we're looking for. So she's cleansed, so she's passed all of the afterbirth, the placenta, etc., which is brilliant.
That's good. So there's no real risk of infection.
No. Now I'm just doing a rectal examination, and again her uterus is clamped nicely down, which is exactly what we want to see and feel. And I can't feel any large bits of distended gut in there.
Okay.
That's good. And also her muck is fairly reasonable looking. So again, this kind of time post calving, the cows are at risk of developing some issues with their stomach system. And sometimes you might get a little bit of a loose scour with that as well. So,
thank you, Ben. Right, so what are we on to next then? Is this the ketosis test?
That's it, yeah. So now we're gonna take a little blood sample out of the tail vein, and we're gonna use. Hang on.
You got a little kit, haven't you?
That's it. We've got all the gear. Hopefully some idea.
I guess the thing is, it'd be very easy to come in here and straight onto a ketosis test.
Yeah.
But if she might have ketosis, but she could also have an underlying issue, which you think you've sorted because you sorted the ketosis.
Yes.
But there's something else. So you really, like you've done, methodically work round.
Yeah.
Rather than drive off and go, oh, I sorted it, and then I'll be ringing you up half an hour later. Going,
that's it.
Or a
exactly.
day later.
I think it's good. It's always good to have a routine in your head in how you approach these things, because sometimes if it's glaringly obvious, you might go to that first, but it's always good to do your full check, because you just never know what else could be. There might be ketosis, but like you say, there could be some other pathology going on there that needs addressing.
Right. So how do you take the blood? Is this just a needle in the vein, or?
That's it, in the tail vein.
Okay. There's your little machine.
This is what we're checking, something called a BHB.
Right.
Or beta hydroxybutyrate, if we're getting technical.
Right. Okay.
Which is basically a measure of a ketone body in the blood.
Yeah.
Which is a byproduct of her mobilising her fat.
I'll wait till you've done that, and then I'll get you to explain a little bit about ketosis.
Yeah. Yeah, don't let me gab on, Rich.
Well, I know you've got a job to do and don't want to disturb you. Not much blood then.
No,
why do you always take it in the tail? Is that the easiest vein to get?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when we only need a tiny drop.
Right. And what are we looking for here?
So we want
ketone on
it says
there.
ketone, and we got the countdown.
Oh, I see. It's checking.
Very exciting. So under 0.8 is normal, and she's 0.4, which is interesting. So she's within normal range for ketones.
So she's not ketosis,
which is a surprise for what we were expecting.
Right.
It just goes to show, you know.
So yeah, but this is what we're here for, and it's to check things through.
Yeah.
So that doesn't leave us with many other options then, does it?
No. Like I said, I haven't checked around her udder yet.
Yeah. She's still got that twitch, hasn't she?
She has got that twitch. And sometimes if one diagnostic test doesn't tell you exactly what you want to know,
right?
You know.
She milked all right yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, her quarters feel absolutely fine.
I wouldn't expect
no heat or swelling there at all.
No, she's twitching all the way, isn't she?
She is twitchy, yeah. I wonder if we're just catching her quite early. I mean, I'm surprised that they're at 0.4. You know, I was thinking they might be a touch higher.
Right.
So what we'll do is we'll treat her symptomatically. I think because she's off feed, we're going to give her an oral drench.
Yeah.
With a little concoction of glucose.
Okay.
One of those off feed sachets that's got some goodies for her rumen that's going to help make sure that she's got the right balance of bugs in her stomach. So we'll give her that.
That's probably the best thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
because it's better to be preventative rather than something going down worse, you know. And what we've lost nothing by doing it.
No.
You know, and then we'll just see how we go.
Yeah. All right. It might be that we'll pop in during the week just to check.
Yeah.
See she's getting on.
All right, brilliant, Ben. Let's crack on. So Ben, you got your bag of goodies out. I got a bit of dirt on my lens, but other than that. So I didn't really ask you. Just very briefly, what is ketosis? So
ketosis is basically a metabolic disease that generally in dairy cows follows calving. There's two types of it. There's type 1 and type 2. And generally in the first few weeks, first sort of 1 to 3 weeks post-calving, you would get type 2. And that's partly because the animal is mobilizing their fat reserves to essentially produce glucose.
Right.
And as a byproduct of that, you get something called a ketone body. Which is probably the best way to describe it. And type 1 is where it happens a little bit further on, and that can be associated with diet and nutrition.
Right.
So in this case, this is an animal that is freshly calved. She's got, our ketone measure said she doesn't have ketosis at the moment, but she does have some neurological symptoms. I think I can smell also, you do get a bit of a pear drop smell.
Right,
I've smelled a little bit of pear drop smell. So, you know, we use our diagnostic tests, and we're, like I said, one of these diagnostic tests has actually said that it's not what we think it is. But like I said, we're going to treat her symptomatically.
Right,
she is off of her feed.
Definitely.
She is at risk of ketosis. So we're going to treat for that.
And what have you got to treat her with?
So this is a product called Off Feed, which is, as it says on the tin, a complementary feed for cows that haven't been eating as they should. And it essentially is a bit of a Lucozade miracle grow for cows. So it's
got an energy drink.
Yeah,
really.
basically, yeah. So it's got a little bit of glucose in it. It's got calcium, magnesium. It's got something called gentian root, which promotes a healthy fibre mat in their rumen, which is what the cows need to have a healthy microflora and microbiome, which, as we know, for us and for everything, is so important.
And you got another bowl?
Yeah, so we've also got this Glycerol Plus.
That's like a sugar, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So this contains, essentially it contains propylene glycol, which is a precursor to glucose, and also this one has got yeast in it as well, which again promotes a healthy rumen environment.
Brilliant.
So we're essentially trying to get her guts in the best possible way now, that she can continue to produce her milk without having to mobilise the fat that's in her body reserves, and she can get back to eating normally and get all of her energy from her food rather than stripping her body fat.
Right, so we're going to pump that in her then.
Yeah.
So I'll just let you get on with that. All right. So you mix them together, or are you putting them in separately?
I mean, they were, they're all going in the same way, but
Right.
I'm going to do it in two different.
That's quite thick, that stuff.
It is thick, yes, it's gloopy. So that's the glycol,
And the yeast.
or the glycerol, and then in there you can see just in there is a really thick, dark stuff, which takes
Smells like yeasty.
a little bit of the old cocktail job to get it out. It does tend to stick to the bottle.
Shake hand back, put the freshness back.
Said I used to work in a bar at uni.
Right, do you need me to help on this? I'm really conscious I'm messing up your job with it, filming you. Do you want me to put this down a minute and give you a hand with that?
Should be alright, should be alright.
Are you sure?
He throws me across the yard with my
Yeah, well that's what everyone's hoping for on the video. I've seen this done many a time.
Yeah. So this is our Aggers pump, which we use for giving oral fluids.
Right.
They are, I think, a really useful, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean it would have been very difficult in the olden days, just a wine bottle or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so it means that we can administer large volumes of oral fluids quickly and safely.
Yeah.
So there is.
And that's, in theory, slides down.
That's the plan.
Well, you're doing very well for a one-man band, because sometimes I normally hold the cow's head or something. How many years have you been doing this, Ben?
8 years now.
Have you?
Yeah.
So you got quite good, haven't you? Well done.
So then we unlock it. Just have the nose down a touch, so we're hoping that the tube goes into the esophagus and not the windpipe.
Right.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. Get this right.
And I've seen it pass down the outside of the throat. And then we're going to lock it in place.
Right.
And I have my pre-flight checks before we start pumping, so
make sure it's all right.
That's it. So normally you should only be able to feel their trachea or their windpipe because that's got cartilage, so it's solid, and you shouldn't really be able to feel the esophagus because that's soft. But when we've passed a tube, a solid tube, into the esophagus, it means you can now feel 2 tubes. So I'm feeling her windpipe and the tube in there.
Right.
So we're pretty sure. I've seen it, I've felt it, but it might be overkill. It's just because I've always done it. I take the tube off.
Right.
Just have a quick listen.
Clever. So you make sure that you got it in the right place.
Make sure we're in. You can smell it actually as well. We're definitely in the right place. Just in case she throws her head around. I need a new seal on my pump.
Oh yeah.
That's right, the company select come and service them for us.
Just look up a bit, Ben. Give us a smile. There you go. That bit in there. Waste not, want not.
Well, this is it.
So once we've done this, do we just let her back out, or can we just milk her like normal?
Yeah, so ideally we would
keep her in if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say if we could just keep her in the box for a couple more days.
Yeah.
It's obviously tricky with that ketone reading.
Yeah.
I think normally we'd advise that you drench her with some glycol for the next sort of 2-3 days, once a day. Obviously, ketones were low.
That was quick, wasn't it?
So I just wonder.
Yeah. Well, I'll just keep an eye on her and let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, if we've nipped it in the bud, that's a good thing.
Yes.
If it's something else, well, time will tell. We've done pretty well what you can do, haven't you?
Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to be fairly local tomorrow, so if it's all right, I might just pop in and have a look.
Yeah.
Just check.
I'm confident she's not really sick. She's just not quite right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll let her go and let her out in the. We'll put her back in that box then. Come on. Come on. Come on. Shh. Come on. Good girl. She'd probably be happier in there. She hasn't got to wander around.
Yeah.
Keep her in for a bit.
And ideally, she just wants some hay and straw and stuff.
Yeah. What about any cake or anything like that?
Not so much for now.
No.
Yeah, well, just that long fibre.
A milker as normal?
Yeah, I'd milk her as normal,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she wants to sit down straight away, which is, they don't normally do that, do they?
No.
She's wanting to sit down. She's been sitting down on her own in the field.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit, there's something not right there anyway, we know that. All right, we'll see. Cheers, Ben.
That's all right, no worries.
So you're just packing up. This is a vet's box of tricks in back of here, isn't it? Yours is very tidy, Ben.
Thank you,
actually,
Rich, yeah.
Because I have seen some where you open the boot and it's like,
Everything's
whoa,
out,
this is all very organised, isn't it?
Well, I tried to keep it fair.
And I also know you can't possibly have staged this, because this, you have to be tidy, because you didn't know I was going to film this, so it's not like you tidied your car up because you think, oh crap, I'm going to go down and be filmed by Rich.
No,
Well
I try
done,
and keep it tidy.
Yeah. Well, you should see my workshop. It's not like that. I need to get some of these boxes. This is a dreaded ticket, isn't it?
This is the dreaded
ticket. Where the bill comes in.
This is it.
Right.
This is it.
I'll let you write that out and then I'll say goodbye. There we go. Ben's off. Seems that vets always have Fords. It's not an easy place to park here. I just got reversed back.
Not the best turning circle.
I was just saying, it's a big beast, isn't it? Always have mistakes. Right. There we go. Ben's just left. So we're going to keep an eye on that cow. I'm not quite sure. She's definitely under the weather. I think she's not really seriously ill though, and for my mind, peace of mind, always better to have them checked out than leave it and then find a dead cow in the field tomorrow or something. So anyway, we'll see how we go. Crack on. 6 AM in the morning, and I'm here to give you an update on 501. So after Ben left, I went off, did Bartley's show, came back, did the milking, and I was keeping an eye on her, and I thought she looked a bit blown up, to be honest, and I wasn't too happy how she looked. So I put another bucket of cake in there. She didn't want to eat that. I spoke to Ben, and he said, well, he did some things like, he said, look down her sort of back, from her back end to her front, and see where there's any swelling more on one side than another, and there was, and everything. So he said then I could come back and give her a steroid injection. Well, I actually had some of the steroid here, so I gave her the steroid injection, which now I can't get into technical details of what that was all about because I didn't really understand it, but it was to do with the gut and swelling and stuff. So anyway, I did that. Anyway, this morning I came out and I was a bit worried what I would find, but this is a really good sign. So I put that bucket of cake in for her, and she hadn't eaten anything like that for 2 days. She wouldn't eat the cake. Now, as I said before, cake is like sweets to cows. Cattle feed or cattle cake, I call it cake, it's pellets. And she wasn't eating that in the parlour or even in here yesterday. But now she's chomping away on that bucket of cake, which is a really good sign, because that just means she's getting back to a normal state. She hasn't really eaten any much of the hay. I put a bit of the hay out. She has had a little bit. She hasn't eaten it from the rack though. So well, I think Ben's going to pop back later. He'll have a look at her, and then maybe we'll let her back out with the cows, because if she's all right, she's as healthy out in the field as she is in here. I can't, and she'd be better off eating grass than hay, really. So I'm hoping that's a good news story. I'm not going to keep filming everything about her, but if there's anything else that happens, good or bad, I'll let you know. We might check her in another video another day, but for now, I think 501 is pulled through. I guess they're just like people though, aren't they? You know, you can have good and bad days, and all of us sometimes have indigestion or headaches or bad legs and stuff, and it's just the reality of owning animals. Is that's what happens. And the difficulty with owning animals is they can't tell you what the matter is, and they can't tell you where the pain is, and that's very frustrating sometimes, because you think with that one, you're like, well, what are you feeling? What's the matter? Anyway, that's a good news story, hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, crack on.